Hey there, I'm Lee Rowley, and this is Lee After Dark. Why? Because there's more to being a business leader than just business. Each week, one brave entrepreneur ejects the elevator pitch and tells us about, well, whatever they want to talk about. Today, I have with me Paul Sando. Paul, how are you?
I am amazing, actually. Absolutely amazing.
Great, great. Now, Paul, the rules are simple. For the next 20 minutes, we can discuss anything you want, except your business. If you're successful, you'll have 5 minutes afterward to pitch your full head off.
Okay.
Each time you slip up and talk about your business during the interview, you'll lose 1 minute of pitch time at the end to talk about your offer. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yes, I'm absolutely
All
ready.
right. So let's go ahead and start the clock and go. Who are you and what are we getting into for the next 20 minutes?
For the next 20 minutes, we're getting into the idea that the key that I have this, you got me at a great daily, and it's going to be kind of rambly because today I realized for kind of the first time I had my why moment today.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Start With Why by Simon Sinek?
Absolutely.
Okay. I've actually never read it. I've heard everybody and their mother talk about it, but I've never actually been able to read it because I've never had the money for it at the particular moment that someone was like, every time was like, I should read this. Hey, I'm also broke. So it's not worked out. But I had my why moment today. And I mean, it was earth shattering, like, holy shit, the stars are aligned and things are going fucking crazy. That is what today was for me. Okay.
All right.
So, yeah. So I had an idea for an invention that I actually shared on LinkedIn of all places. And it snowballed. All of it snowballed. Like, it's not even, whether you want to count that as a mention of the product or not, feel free. It's not what what I have in my head is no longer where I started. Okay. So I don't think of it. So your choice. But I realized my key to being me is my identity.
Mm-hmm.
My identity. Owning who I am and owning everything about who I am. And if I don't express that 100% vulnerably and 100% outward to everybody, then I'm doing something wrong. That's my wrong now. You know, sorry, how long should I go on and on before you talk?
You've got 17 and a half minutes.
Oh,
so yeah,
wait.
No, you know what?
But I mean, aren't podcasts supposed to be interactive? Like, they're not supposed to actually listen to me speak for 17 minutes, right?
Hey, I'll interject questions, but I am perfectly fine with rambling. Trust me.
Oh, thank God. Yeah. Thank God.
That's just let it man. This is, yeah.
That'll be the best thing, because when I share this podcast with everybody that's on my LinkedIn, they're going to be they're going to know for sure that it's me, because I talk way too freaking much in my videos and stuff. So.
Well, you've got free license to do so carry on.
But yeah, it's amazing. For me, and I think everybody's vision is different. Everybody says that my vision is this, my vision is that, and I started talking about, I have two partners in this new thing that's going on. And it's so clear in my head, Lee, I can see 40 years in the future where this idea is. Like, I see, Lee, you are the first place that I'm saying this in a public venue. This is the first time I'm saying it, like, verbally. Okay. I am going to change the world. No questions asked, no hesitation. It is my life's mission. I have found my life's mission, and I found it today. So how lucky are you that you get to freaking be here for this?
I'm elated. I'm all for it.
I have found my life's mission. And it all ties back to my identity. And my identity with everybody else's identity. Okay. And what I mean by that is this. My identity is, I've realized that the only thing that defines me the only thing that really matters to me is my identity. And as people scroll through my life, like posts on LinkedIn, for example, some of them are going to stick around. Some of them are going to catch my attention. Some of them are their identity meshes with mine really, really well. And I'm going to stick really, really, really close to them, and I'm going to keep them, and they're going to end up in my circle. But just like any good piece of content that goes viral, it may not last forever. I mean, think about this. Think about all the pieces of content that you've consumed on the internet since you started, right? Since you started using the internet.
Right.
How many of those do you go back and reference that are more than a year old? Well, I mean, it depends on your age. I mean, I've been around for a little bit longer. But I think about the pieces of content, like when I started using the internet, it was Netscape 1.0. Okay. My dad worked for
dark days.
Yes, my dad worked for Penn State. And the only reason I got internet access at that stage was because my dad worked for a university. And that's how I got into my love of technology. Was my dad one day was a workaholic, and he needed to foist me off on somebody because my parents were divorced at the time. He needed to foist me fucking off on somebody. So he's like, I'm going to go foist you off on the computer center because I can have a student sitting there at a desk to watch your ass like they're a fucking babysitter because I work for the university.
Awesome.
And I was like, and I played with my first computer, and I remember fucking, dude, you want to talk about After Dark right now? I remember Netscape 1.0. I remember playing with Macs for the first time. I remember getting caught masturbating in the computer center by another student, by an actual college student. And I remember almost exactly what he said to me with the first time I found porn, because the computer wasn't my house. And I was like, and I'm a stupid fucking like 14 or 13-year-old at the time, and I'm like, nobody's gonna notice this going on, and he's sitting 2 seats next to me. My God, I was fucking stupid as a kid. No, I mean, wow. I'm still stupid now, but just differently.
You're not wanking in public places anymore, so.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, we're not talking about full on. We're talking about my hand being in an inappropriate place where it shouldn't have been while there was an inappropriate image on the screen. Okay.
Listen.
So
yeah. If you don't mean to take that to a bad place, you were definitely in the wrong place here. You know, I.
Oh no, you take it wherever you want to. That's the great thing. And
I tell people I spend my money, snorting lines of coke off of strippers' asses, which is highly untrue because I've been happily married for 20 years. But it makes for good shtick.
Okay, that's fair. Well, but see, that's the thing, actually, and that's I'm sorry, Lee. We've reached our first disagreement of the evening. What? I have realized that the best shtick that I can put out is just the truth. That story is absolutely 150% true. I actually remember what the kid said to me. He turned to me, and it shocked me because so few people in my life had, in that time period, would say something like this to me, because we're talking about 20 odd years ago. Turned to me and he says, if you want to fucking sit there and jerk off looking at some guy, if you want to sit there and look at some naked guy, I don't care. And then he turned back to what he was doing. So I don't even know if he realized what I was doing with my hand. I think he may have just seen the porn on the screen. And like, these are computers that are straight in a line. They're facing straight outward. He's sitting 2 seats down from me, and all I've done is turn the monitor like 5 degrees away from him.
Subtlety.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. So, but that's it for me, Lee. It's my identity. My identity is worth protecting with my life.
Okay. So tell me about that. What do you see as your identity?
My identity is too complex for anyone other than me to understand. But
you're ineffable.
So is everybody. Everybody is. And that's the thing that I'm wondering, because Gary Vaynerchuk is a huge person that I admire the shit out of, and I recently put in a video that if I ever meet him, I'm going to cry. Actually, I have a social media. Wait, no, I'm not. I'm going to wait. That's the thing. Oh my God! I know what my pitch is going to be. Actually, I do have one. So I have this amazing thing that I totally lost my fucking train of thought. Motherfucker. I asked my partner the other day, I says, do they have tie downs for trains of thought? Because
oh goodness, yeah, no, I'd be right there with you, man.
Ryan.
Yeah. I smoke enough pot for 6 people, so I can't remember what the hell I'm talking about half the time.
Dude, I actually just smoked pot for the first time. So I went through this long kick of it doesn't make me feel good. It makes me paranoid. But which is funny because I'm a cancer patient, so you think that I'd have a lot of experience with weed, former cancer patient. I'm good now.
Wow.
But
That's awesome.
Thank you. Well, let me rephrase. I actually think I'm good. The problem is my life has been so crazy for the last fucking like 6 months. I haven't had health insurance, so I really don't know. When my surgery was completed, the margins were clean, which means, hey, guess what? It looks like there's no cancer, but I have not had a PET scan since then.
Oh, good.
Which is why I'm hoping that this startup takes off really, really fast, because my current employer doesn't offer me health insurance. And the first thing that I'm going to do when I get the seed funding for my company is, we need health insurance. That's going to be the first fucking thing, But it's funny. That whole being about people thing is people. I've come to realize if someone spins out of my life, okay, it doesn't fucking matter. They weren't meant to be there. Okay, they weren't fucking meant to be there. And here's the crazy thing. Like, I think I've always believed in God. I'm not 100% sure. Like, my grandmother was United Methodist, and she was a real Christian. Not those Bible thumping, I'm going to slam on you, I'm going to slam your sins away with my Bible while I, go do whatever it is I'm going to do that nobody can see. I'm going to go hook up with a guy in an airport bathroom. Not that kind of Bible thumper. I'm talking about a genuinely Christian woman.
Okay.
This woman, my grandmother loved every person she ever met. Every person she ever met. The only thing she ever had to say about me being gay, one time when she was starting to get a little bit senile, my brother and I were fighting in a living room, and she confused the two of us. And I remember we met. My brother's girlfriend came up, or like girls and my brother came up in some respect, and she looked at him and she says, "Wait a minute, aren't you the one that likes boys?" And that was it. That's the only thing I could ever remember my grandmother saying about me being gay. And it was crazy, but just, yeah, it's just whatever, there's so many things that so much content that say this and be this and do this. Dude, I just want to fucking be me. Whatever the fuck that means, the people that are supposed to be here will be here. The people that aren't won't. And that's what it means to own your identity. To own your identity means to accept that there is nobody more important to preserve in the world than you.
Okay.
Now, it's fun. It's God. I don't know where to go with this, Lee. I'll be honest, because this is your show, and I've just been like talking and ranting.
That's all good. So you talk about your identity and protecting that. What do you show people? Do you show people everything? And
absolutely everything.
I've had this discussion with many people, and I get a lot of different answers. Personally, I'm bipolar. You don't really get to see much of me being under the cover for days on end, like not wanting to get out of bed because I just can't stand the thought of breathing air that somebody else is breathing. Right. You do see this crap, when I'm in manic phase and I'm doing, 4, 5, 8 interviews a day.
So many so that I interrupted the person before me.
Well, hey, I appreciate you doing that, because I did that to somebody else about 3 months ago, and it just makes me go, oh, okay, well, at least I'm not the only one.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I don't really show people. I talk about it.
Yeah.
I blog about it. I'm very open about it. But I don't go on Facebook when I'm like that and just be like, hey, please feel sorry for me. I'm having a da-da-da-da-da. I just am like, hey, this is who I am. You're going to see me disappear now and again for a few days, and that's it.
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing, Lee. There's a difference between showing yourself all the time and there's a difference between showing yourself all the time. And the reason that I feel comfortable 152% showing myself all the time is because I know who the person, I'm starting to learn who the identities are that really tie well into mine. And when I'm actually in the moment, I seek one of them out. I seek out another compatible identity to spend time with, whether it's a friend or a roommate. For example, if I'm feeling particularly lonely and shitty, I go downstairs, I find one of my 2 roommates, Jamie and Jake, and presuming they're not trying to kill each other, I give one of them a hug. And I'll sit and hang out with them for 15 minutes because I just want another human in my presence. Okay. And most of the time I'm sitting up in my bedroom doing fucking jack shit of all nothing other than working on things that are for the startup I'm doing. That's it, But as soon as the moment passes, and that's the thing, I've realized if you seek out that identity in the moment, it lasts a lot less time. a lot less time. Every emotion is easier to pass through when you're near an identity that meshes with you.
Interesting. Okay.
If you just let it out, dude, it's like nothing going. Just let it all the fuck out. As long as you let it out. And here's the thing. So for example, say you have a moment and let's say you're on a pitch with a client and you're like, the client says something and I said, and you think it and you say it. That is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard come out of someone's mouth. You just say, but what are the two options for that? Either A, the person is going to hear what you said, think about what they said, and they're going to agree with you, and they're going to start laughing their ass off, and you've just built amazing rapport with the person. Or they're going to be like, wow, what a fucking dick are you? And they're going to get all defensive. And then you're going to walk out. They're going to tell you to get out. Awesome. You just saved yourself a ton of fucking work. Do you know why you saved yourself a ton of fucking work, Lee? Because now you're not going to take a client that's going to end up firing you 6 months or a year from now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So,
people are more human than we give them credit for. And I love that when I show my identity, I let other people feel comfortable being them. And I love that.
Okay. That's really cool. So you're perfectly okay with being polarizing and just letting
absolutely. I don't give a fuck.
Fall where they bear. That's awesome.
I don't give a fuck. Because here's another thing that it's kind of this weird coin going on. But if you're willing to invest enough time to figure out your differences, you can get along with anybody.
If you're willing to invest enough time to figure out your
because
that's a quotable by the way. That's going on the liner notes, but
I love that. Okay, so what I mean by that is this. So it's kind of like at the next step of the thought. We talk about identities being far apart.
Right.
The thing that allows two identities that are really far apart to get closer to one another is this idea that they know each other better. Okay, for example, there is a podcaster on LinkedIn who I actually disconnected from and unfollowed the other day. 3 months ago, I admired the fuck out of this kid. Like, he's significantly younger than me. Truth be told, I fucking thought he was hot. That's why I started following him. But he had a lot of good things to say, and I was listening. But the first time I ever reached out to him, we had a huge identity disconnect because he approached me in a way that made me feel like I was being condescended to. So he impeded on my sense of identity, right? So he impeded on my sense of identity, and I was not in a place where I was back then where I was defending my identity. I was just like, I was in such a bad spot actually at that moment. I was really looking just for fucking any attention. So the fact that he even talked to me, I was like a fucking dog, like, going fucking like just begging for attention. And it's crazy, but so I went through this I've been going through this transition. Today was like pinnacle day, but I've been leading up to this for the past few days, and I had gotten to the point where I'd actually disconnected from and unfollowed him. And this is a guy on LinkedIn who has like thousands more followers than me. Okay. So he should be looking ahead, not looking back, right? There is absolutely no fucking reason for him to look back at some piddly little ass like me who's got like 1,200 followers to look back and be like, why did that one fucker disconnect from me? What the fuck? That's where his mind should be at. Why the fuck? One guy disconnected from me. Who the fuck gives a shit? But instead, and this is interesting because I disconnected from him because of that whole defending my identity thing.
Okay.
But then he reached out to me and asked me why we were disconnected. And then he asked me why we were disconnected. And I went, well, hold on a second. I said, I didn't want to get into it. I didn't want to start a fight. So I just said, hey, I just think we have different opinions. And I disconnected. And he was like, okay, we just had a couple conversations. Was it so bad that we disagreed? And I'm sorry, but have a great life, which was a really generous way to part company. And then I went back into all of it. And then I started seeing posts in my feed from him. Now I had unfollowed him. So these posts were, the LinkedIn algorithm had decided I needed to see these posts anyways, even though I had unfollowed him. And the reason I was seeing them was because someone in my network had commented on it, liked it, whatever.
Okay.
So he comes back to me and starts showing up again. And the next video I see of this young man is him fucking totally personal, not being stuck up, not being a jerk. The post is about showing himself, showing off his own identity and owning his own identity. Which is the problem I had with him in the first place. The problem that triggered it was I thought he wasn't showing me his real identity. So I back off. Now I'm starting to actually move closer to him. And the last thing I did, I sent him a message on LinkedIn. I said, dude, I apologize that I didn't explain to you what was going on with my feelings when I disconnected from you and you asked me why. And if you'd like the opportunity to find out and talk it through, I'm welcome to that, or I'm open to it. And that's the thing. Maybe, I'm sure that I don't want to go this far with it because I'm not sure of all of this. I'm not sure of fucking anything. Other than I'm going to change the world. That is the one thing I'm sure of. I'm going to change the world, and I'm going to do it through showing people the value of their identity.
Through showing people the value of their identity. I absolutely love that. And that is actually the perfect place to put that, because you have just completed the Lee After Dark challenge, talking about something other than your business for 20 minutes. So now you have earned the right to pitch your full head off for up to 5 minutes. So what you got?
So I actually don't have any product to offer.
Okay.
Because the startup doesn't have funding yet, and I work for a tiny ass IT company in Vegas that, unless you are in the city of Las Vegas, isn't going to help you. So, and I'm not in sales anyway, so I have nothing to sell. I have nothing to offer you. Hit me back in about 6 to 9 months. No, but actually, I'm curious, Lee, when is this going to air? Because we didn't talk about that.
This one is going out on November 1st.
November 1st.
It is going out on November 1st.
Son of a bitch. Are we really? Okay.
I can put it back. I can push it back.
No. It's fine. You do you. Like I said, remember what I said about identities. You do you. You don't go outside your identity. Now, so I'm going to talk you through. I need to talk to Gary Vaynerchuk. How many people do you think say that every fucking day? You know who that is, right?
Of course I know who.
Okay, I love that everybody says, of course I know who he is, but do you know how many people every day that I talk to don't know who the fuck he is? That's, I think, going to identity, one of the things that I think we do terribly to one another is assume somebody knows something. And I'm an IT guy, so I was guilty of it for years and years. Well, you should know this. I think that's a terrible fucking thing to do, is assume somebody knows something. But that being said, Gary fucking dude, okay, I need to meet him. And it's not for the reason you think. I mean, yes, I'm going to ask him and the funny thing is you're getting a preview of a video that I'm actually going to post. You're looking into the future right now, because the video that talks about this will be posted on November the 4th. Okay.
Ooh, time travel.
Yes. So, you know what? Actually, I take that back. Because here's the thing. For me, it's a constant balance in my head of this. It's okay to benefit my identity, but I personally, now I'm not saying this for everybody, but my identity says that whatever I do for me has to be more beneficial for someone else. Like I'm okay with asking for something if the end result of what I see is better for me and somebody else. Okay. So
sure.
for example, Lee, I'm really, really broke. I can't pay my car insurance. Can I borrow $100? Or can I have $100? I would never do that. Not going to happen. But, hey, Lee, can I borrow $100 and I'll give you 120 when I get my first paycheck on November 8th? That I would do, because you benefit from it as well. I get my ass saved and you benefit from it. The one exception to that, no, actually, there's no exceptions. No, there is. My buddy John, I just thought of this. He lends me money all the time. Anyways, tangents. This is what I told you about. It's tangents.
Yeah.
We
got a lot of those around here.
Yeah, it's just fucking, sorry, I had to answer an urgent email. All right. So I'm going to be doing 2 campaigns coming up. So here's my pitch. Two things coming up, which one is going to be in the middle of, and one of them is, but next week I'm doing a challenge, my first LinkedIn challenge that I'm leading with a few friends of mine, called 5 Stories.
Okay.
And I'm going to challenge every single person on LinkedIn who wants to listen to share 5 vulnerable, real, authentic stories about who they are as a person that have helped shape where they are today.
Oh, cool.
5 stories. That's the challenge. So watch for that.
Okay.
Second thing is, the week after that, and I didn't plan all this to fucking tie in together, but it's like fate, God, fate, whatever the higher power is. I don't know if it's he, she, it, them. Doesn't fucking matter. The higher power is with me. Sorry, fucking Christian church. Anyways, some Christian churches. Anyways, so the end goal is on Monday or Tuesday of the week after, I'm putting a post together, and I'm going to start a campaign called Make Paul Cry. And Make Paul Cry is basically, after 37 fucking years, I have finally gotten so comfortable with who I am and finally owned all the pieces of my identity that I feel, I'm not promising, but I feel like anybody who criticizes me, fuck them. I don't care. I'll go back to the people that I want. Now, so I want all of LinkedIn to make me cry one last time on purpose. I want them to be the last people that I ever allow to make me cry on purpose. And this comes from me saying that if I ever meet Gary Vaynerchuk, I'm going to cry. That's the kind of campaign. Now, why do I want to meet Gary Vaynerchuk? There are 3 reasons. Yes, I want to talk to him about my business. Yes, I want to ask him for money. But more importantly, I'm going to change the fucking world, and I would really like to tell him that he's going to be part of it in person, or that he had a role in making it happen. You know, I don't need his money. I have the full knowledge and trust that yes, he's involved in a venture in capital firm called Vayner RSE, but I don't need his money, and I don't need his attention, and I don't need his time. I would just really love the opportunity. First off, I've started to embrace emotional outlets, and like just letting out all of that would be amazing, I think. But also, I just want to tell him I'm going to change the fucking world. And it's because of the realness and the content and him just like, dude, his fucking message has been pounded in my brain over and over and over again ever since I first fucking found his content, which was not that long ago, actually. Probably a year, and that's it. And he has played a big role in where I'm at today, where I have my full vision, my full identity.
Gary, I know you're watching this, dude. Just give this guy. I mean, this guy answered a freaking email in the middle of my podcast. This guy's cojones, man. Whatever it is that needs to happen, he's like Vanilla Ice. If there's a problem, he'll solve it, man. Answered an email in the middle of my podcast. What's wrong with you? I'm just.
That's a lot of things, dude.
Nah, it's all good. Well, you know what? Our 5 minutes is up. So I'm thinking, can I put your LinkedIn profile address in the show notes and have people go there to get in on the Make Paul Cry and
absolutely.
There, would that work?
Yeah,
okay.
And if they pick 5 stories, do the 5 stories thing, because being you is a lot more important than helping me. So if you pick a challenge, do 5 stories, please. That's the one that really matters.
Okay, so it's LinkedIn /Paul or
P Sando.
P Sando, PASANDO, and again I'll throw the link in the show notes just so that everybody doesn't have to go hunting for it. But go follow this guy. He's one of the most entertaining guys I've met in a long time, and I really appreciate you coming on and sharing, man. It's been an absolute circus. And I totally dig it, man. So thank you again for coming on. Any last words briefly before we wrap this up?
No, Lee, thank you for the honor of having me. But more importantly, thank you for getting people a little bit closer to their actual identity. I mean that seriously. That's what you're doing. That's why your podcast got an email from me on Spotaguest rather than fucking someone else's. Because you are pulling people closer to their actual identity. Absolutely. And I applaud you for that, good sir.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. Well, listen, we are out of time. If you found Lee After Dark more entertaining and relevant than most of the dreck out there, give our hosts over at IPMNation.com some love or subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, iTunes, and wherever the heck else this show ends up. This is Lee Rowley with my new good friend, Paul Sando. Until next time, be present and be well.